For most of the 20th century, scientists were certain they had this one figured out. Your cat brings you dead animals because it loves you. It's a gift, a token of affection from a creature that, despite its reputation for indifference, actually wants to make you happy. Behaviourists wrote it up. Vets repeated it in waiting rooms. It became one of those facts that stopped being questioned because everyone already knew the answer. They were wrong, not slightly wrong, not nuanced version wrong, completely, embarrassingly, categorically wrong. And what researchers found when they actually looked, when they put cameras in homes, measured cortisol in cats, and analysed the specific conditions under which prey delivery happens, didn't just correct the gift theory, it replaced it with something that will make you look at your cat, and at yourself, very differently. Here is the behaviour as a puzzle. Your cat is a competent, successful predator. Studies from the University of Georgia's Kitty Cam project, led by Kerry Ann Lloyd, and published in the journal Biological Conservation in 2013, attached small cameras to free-roaming cats and found that the average outdoor cat successfully hunts between 1 and 2 prey items per outing. They are not struggling, they are not in need, and critically, they do not bring prey to other cats. Adult cats in multi-cat households almost never deposit kills at the feet of other cats. They eat alone, cache alone, or abandon the kill. So why, specifically and consistently, do they bring prey to you? The gift theory collapses immediately under this question. You are not another cat. You have never fed your cat a mouse in exchange. There is no reciprocity, no transactional logic. The gift explanation was always a projection, a warm human story laid over a behaviour that was pointing somewhere much stranger. The first suspect is surplus killing. The idea that cats hunt beyond hunger and the delivery is simply overflow. They caught something, didn't need it, left it near a resource they value, which happens to be you. This is partially true. Cats do engage in surplus killing, documented extensively by Leyhausen in his foundational 1979 work on feline behaviour. But surplus killing doesn't explain the targeting. Cats don't deposit prey near their food bowl. They don't leave it by the door. They bring it specifically to where you are, or to your bed, or to a location associated with your scent. GPS data from the Georgia study confirms directional intent. Cats returning from hunts with prey made navigational choices that led to the owner's location rather than the nearest shelter. Surplus doesn't have a direction. This behaviour does. The second suspect is attachment theory, and this is where the puzzle deepens. Research by John Bradshaw at the University of Bristol, published in his 2013 book, Cat Sense, and supported by peer-reviewed work in the journal Applied Animal Behaviour Science, established that domestic cats do not perceive their owners as owners. They perceive them as unusually large, largely incompetent cats, not metaphorically, neurologically. Your cat's attachment system, which runs through the same oxytocin-mediated bonding circuitry identified in studies by Michael Delgado at the University of California, Davis in 2017, processes you as a conspecific, a member of the social group. And in that framework, prey delivery takes on an entirely different character. But it still isn't a gift. What Bradshaw's work points toward is something more unsettling. Your cat may be responding to something it hears in your voice. This is the finding that reframes everything. Research into maternal behaviour in felids, particularly work by Kristin Vitale at Oregon State University, published in Current Biology in 2019, alongside earlier studies on maternal prey provisioning in wild felids by Sharon Crowell Davis at the University of Georgia, identified a specific trigger for prey delivery in female cats, distress vocalizations in offspring. When kittens are hungry, cold, or separated, they produce high-frequency vocalizations that trigger an automatic prey retrieval response in the mother. The mother hunts, returns, and deposits prey at the source of distress. Now consider the sounds you make every day in your home. You talk to your cat. You talk on the phone. You laugh too loudly, you cry, you raise your voice, you use a high-pitched register when you address them directly. What researchers call motherese, documented in human-pet interaction studies by Nicholas Nicastro at Cornell University in 2004. Your cat is not giving you a gift. Your cat has assessed the sounds coming from you and concluded at a neurological level that you are a kitten who cannot feed yourself. The prey is not a token, it is an intervention. To understand why this wiring exists at all, you have to go back approximately 10,000 years to the Fertile Crescent, where the earliest genetic divergence between wild Felis silvestris libica and the domestic cat lineage has been traced by Carlos Driscoll at the National Cancer Institute, published in Science in 2007. The domestication of the cat was not directed by humans the way dog domestication was. Cats self-selected proximity to human grain stores because grain stores attracted rodents. The cats who tolerated human presence reproduced. The ones who didn't left. What this means is that the maternal care system, the prey provisioning instinct, came into contact with a new kind of dependent. You. A large, noisy, non-hunting creature that lived in a den and made sounds that resembled need. Over thousands of years, the cats whose maternal circuitry extended toward humans produced more surviving offspring because those humans provided shelter, warmth, and supplemental food. The behaviour wasn't trained, it was selected, and it tells you something genuinely moving about your cat, that the oldest, most protective circuitry in her brain has decided that you are worth caring for. Now hear this part carefully, because this is the part that matters most. If your cat has consistently brought you prey, or in indoor cats, toys, socks, hair ties, anything that functions as a proxy kill, and that behaviour stops, do not dismiss it. A cessation of prey delivery is one of the earliest behavioural indicators of a cat experiencing chronic stress, illness, or a breakdown in the attachment bond. Research by Stella, Lord and Buffington at Ohio State University, published in the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association in 2011, found that behaviourally inhibited cats, those suppressing normal behavioural outputs, showed measurable increases in illness markers, including urinary disease and immune suppression. Your cat is not being lazy or independent when the deliveries stop. The maternal care response requires a baseline of safety and attachment security to activate. If it switches off, something in your cat's internal world has shifted. Watch also for changes in the type of delivery. A cat who moves from bringing prey to the centre of a room to leaving it hidden, hoarded, or half-eaten is showing signs of anxiety around resource security. And a cat who was never a hunter but suddenly begins bringing objects obsessively may be responding to a stressor in the environment, a new pet, a change in routine, a loss, by overactivating the only caregiving behaviour available to them. Go back to the beginning, the thing you thought you knew, your cat dropping something dead at your feet, and the story you told yourself about what it meant, a gift, a gesture of love in the language of a predator. That story was not wrong because it was too generous. It was wrong because it wasn't generous enough. What is actually happening is older than love, deeper than affection, and rooted in the most fundamental biological drive any animal possesses, the drive to keep something vulnerable alive. Your cat looked at you, loud, clumsy, incapable of catching anything, and her brain made a decision. You needed taking care of. That's not a gift, that is adoption. If your cat has ever brought you something, tell me in the comments, what was it? A mouse, a toy, a sock, something stranger? And next time, we're going into the neuroscience of why your dog's tail wags on a specific side of their body, depending on whether they're looking at you or a stranger, and what that asymmetry reveals about how deeply they are actually reading you.